Yeah, we wanted to pick your brain today, like on a couple topics, including, well, we'll start off with the first one, um, Airbnbs in the U.S. compared to here. How's it going out there? What parts of the U.S. are you in? And how's the Airbnb market? Like,
And I
are you
want to know
seeing?
how you started too, because like
How I started?
I see you all over social media, and you're like fucking.
You know what? Yeah, let's take
you
it
have
back a notch.
I think you have a management company. Right?
Yes.
I know that, and then you have rentals in Ottawa too,
Yes.
and in the States, right?
Indeed.
Anywhere else?
That's it.
Okay.
For now.
Yeah. So
For
why
now.
don't you tell us like, what came first, the management company, or did the buying properties come first?
Yeah. So actually, yeah, taking it back a notch.
Yeah.
Right after high school, I joined a property management company. Got into the industry, had a lady mentor me, and from there, I was surrounded by seasoned investors, and that's obviously what fueled my interest at the age of 23.
How old are you now again?
27.
27. Okay.
Yes. How old are you guys?
28 and fucking 52.
Nice.
33.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you guys are young too.
Yeah.
At the age of 23, I decided to spend my savings on a fixer-upper in Ottawa, actually. So that was in, I think, 2019 we got it under contract. And from there, it was, I think, the first time I picked up a drill. Realized, oh shit, I have to DIY now because I'm broke after the down payment. It was I had to put 20% down, so it was around 100K all in with closing costs, and that's when I first learned to DIY. Had friends help me, which was great, and then I was able to, once the renovation was complete, I was able to rent it out. Higher rent, and got it appraised for a lot higher. So I was able to cash out and get all of my money back.
Sounds like a good burr.
That's a good bird.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
Was it a single family, a duplex, or like what was the?
It's a bungalow. It was a bungalow.
Okay.
It was, I would like to say, a non-conforming triplex.
Yeah.
It was listed as a triplex, but I gutted the basement. I could not believe what the previous owner did. There were one was a one bedroom down there, and then the second unit was a bachelor unit, but it was horrendous.
Yeah.
And the rents didn't really justify what it was at, and there was a leak, and it was horrible. So
A mess.
yeah, it was a mess. So eventually, I reinvested back into that property. More recently, actually, I think last year, and we spent more money to gut the basement and turn it into a 2-bedroom unit. And it's rented down there, and then the upper unit, it's on Airbnb.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you got your cash out refi, had all the equity in the building or the house, and then you just did another renovation recently, right? You said just now, like you converted it to a 2-bed.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
now
are you planning to refinance again, or are you gonna do like just let it cash flow and let it ride?
it's cash flowing pretty well, especially for Ottawa. So I'm letting it ride for now.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how you built your foundation.
Yeah, it was through
basically.
the burst strategy.
Yeah.
A little bit of strategy, a little bit of luck.
How was doing the renos on your own?
I never want to do that shit again.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it at the start. I felt like it was a really great learning experience.
Yeah.
It allowed me to understand what contractors put in, the work they put in.
Yep.
It
The
allows
quality of work you
the
probably
quality,
want too.
yeah,
right?
the quality of work, the quotes they give me, the estimates. I'm like, don't play with me. So it was great. I feel a lot more well-rounded, and I did that a couple of times, a lot of DIY. But after that, I'm GCing it all the way.
And
Yeah.
and so like going back, so you started with a management company, and then I know you're doing your own thing now. So when you bought that house, is that kind of around the same time you left the management company and said, okay, I'm gonna do this on my own?
I left.
You give us a vague answer.
Okay.
And Jared just fucking cut.
Cut. I left. I left the company just to venture off into my own company.
Yeah.
I don't think I work very well with working for other people.
Yeah.
I'm a horrible employee, as a matter of fact. but I work well when it's something that I'm passionate about. So.
Is it because like you want to be in control of the decisions and stuff like that, or maybe you think there's a way that you can run it better and just from your experience? Because I'm like that too.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much like we talk about it
You
all
want
the
to do your
time.
own thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do my own thing. I also felt like it was a bit of a toxic work environment. I think that's something that's not talked about enough.
Well, you know what? That
For
sounds
sure.
like it was probably the best experience you could have had because it shifted you towards doing your own thing. So sometimes going into a toxic thing
Yeah,
makes you realize what a non-toxic life you want.
exactly. No
100%.
regrets at all. No
So
regrets
that's
at
good.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having it's difficult when it's not that I really enjoy doing it. That's why I ventured off into having my own property management company. But it's who you work with really matters, and
100%.
especially when it's your boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ruining your life.
And the name of the company was.
Yeah.
And are you like a one-woman show right now, or do you have employees? Are you starting to look at hiring out, or what's
Yeah, so I only started venturing off on my own.
pretty recently?
Yeah, recently, last year. It's a bit more under the radar right now. I'm not like, I don't have a huge marketing budget or anything. It's a lot of referrals, word of mouth. And I just have a lot of other things going on. So I'm taking it slow, have as different streams of income and building my short-term rental and long-term rental portfolio slowly.
I know you got quite a few projects.
Yes. I do have projects on the go. I have social media, something that I've been trying to grow as well. A lot of lead gen comes through social media and connections.
For sure.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, us.
Yeah. So it's been great. It's a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and a lot of travel.
Awesome.
So, what do you prefer, short and long-term rentals, and what
Yeah.
do you think like the ups or like the plus and minuses of both? Because I know there's definitely
Yeah.
some. And I guess when you like also speak to like the different markets you're in, right? Like Ottawa versus, I think you're in Texas.
Yes. Yes.
So if you could do that.
Sure, yeah. So, actually, the type of properties that I really like. Okay, taking it back. When I first started, I wasn't sure really what my buy box was. I started with a BRRRR strategy because of a lady that really inspired me. She was doing BRRRR projects, and I just felt inspired and said, "Oh, maybe I should do that too." Hindsight 2020, I should have really honed in on what my buy box was, what my goals were, and at the time, and it still is now, it's cash flow. It's not saying that I'm a millionaire on paper. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I want
those are
cash flow.
long-term plays. They're more longer.
Yeah, they're long-term
yeah.
plays. But at my age now, I'm like, no, I think I just want cash flow and I want to
100%.
travel.
Yeah.
So I was able to pivot. And what I really like now is small multi-unit homes, multi-unit properties, sorry.
Duplex, triplex.
Yeah,
fourplex.
yeah. Triplex, let's say, have worked out really well for me because I'm able to make it a mixed use. I have 2 as long-term rentals and then 1 as a short-term rental. So I have the best of both worlds. I have stability and I also have cash flow.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, just to chime in on that topic, for with regards to Ottawa at least, how does it work? Can you legally Airbnb something for 12 months all year round, or do you have to do it for 6 months of the year, and it has to be your primary residence? Like, what's the
Yeah.
how does it work now?
Yeah, so rules and regulations, they're always changing here.
Yeah.
At the moment, I know, they're always changing it.
Yeah.
So right now, as far as I know, you can't list your basement unit on Airbnb. Anything above, you can. You will find Airbnb listings in Ottawa with basement rentals. I'm going to assume they're either grandfathered or there's a loophole.
So
Yeah.
so Airbnb just doesn't want basement units on their platform?
I think it's
Not
Ottawa.
Airbnb, it's Ottawa.
Oh.
The city doesn't want.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
A lot of things don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, this place has a lot of rules.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. So at the moment, you would have to apply as usual. There's about 300 pending applications
Oh
in
my
Ottawa.
God.
I know, it's lovely. So after you apply, you have to ensure that you have, the fire detectors, CO detectors, the fire extinguisher. You have to create a brochure with all the required information that they want. You have to get a layout of your unit. And
Okay.
then once they actually look at your application, they send a bylaw officer to your property. And they take a look at the layout, they make sure it's safe. If they deem that it is safe, then they mail you your permit.
Okay, wait.
Oh wow, that's
That's
it's
fucking
completely changed since.
Okay, wait.
It's
time out,
changed.
though.
That bylaw thing is recent.
That's insane. Because like, do you have to pay for that?
Wait, what?
Like the city like, is there application
There
fees?
are fees, yeah.
So it's just a money grab because to me it
For
just
sure.
sounds like a fire retro. Like they just want to make sure it's fire code compliant, which you have to be anyway. To me, it would just be like as simple as like, hey, you know, you want to go on Airbnb, no problem. Show us that you're fire code compliant. Like it can be as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, knowing how they operate here, they want it to go like
Yeah.
through the motions.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
And then grab some cash on
Yes.
the way.
Pretty much.
Of course.
Honestly, I understand that they want to make sure it's safe, and I completely agree. There are some
100%.
people that ruin it for other Airbnb hosts that want to make sure that they're giving a safe place for someone to stay, right?
But-
yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so right now, can you Airbnb all year round if you've got this permit?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could.
Yes.
So the rules have circled back. That's good news for
So it
Ottawa.
doesn't have to be my house. Like if we have a 6-unit building, can we do that, or
It
has
does.
to
So
be,
it
like,
does
our
need to be your
principal?
primary residence.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
it still does have to be
It
your
does
primary.
have to be primary, but
Ah,
you can rent it year round.
okay. So clarification: it has to be your primary residence.
Yeah,
and you
AKA
can Airbnb, AKA your.
It's on your driver's
Basement.
license.
Oh, it's got to be on your driver license,
Yes.
Huh.
and then you can Airbnb it all year round.
That's crazy, man. Like.
Yeah, there's a lot of loopholes. I mean, there's
There's
a
a
lot
lot.
of like rules
Hoops to jump through,
and
right?
tons of hoops to jump through. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Like
That's,
everywhere. Most
that's crazy.
places, at least.
So does that like, are all these rules coming into effect? Is that why you started looking into the states, and does it kind of deter you from wanting to buy here? Because I know we talk about it. Like, we've got quite a few buildings, and we're kind of like, hey man, like, we want to keep buying, obviously, but like, I don't know
Yeah.
if here is the place, right? Like,
Yeah.
it depends on what your strategy is, right, and like what you want.
It does. It's not to say that there aren't strict regulations in the US as well, because there are. But what I like about the US versus Canada is there's a lot more landlord friendly states
Yeah.
to choose from. There's a lot more opportunity, and it's a lower cost to get into the market, right? Like I'm getting wholesalers reach out to me for an 11 unit in Houston for $55K a pop, right?
Yeah.
It's just so much.
That's insane. So then you're.
Are they like B locations or BC?
or CZ?
Yeah.
Z minus. I would say I would say B. It could be B, C. I don't really want to touch C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you
I
say
would.
maybe like comparable to Vanier?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Like Ottawa is like A plus compared to so many places in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
After investing in San Antonio, I invested in an up and coming neighborhood near downtown. Vanier.
Yeah.
Vanier seems so luxurious to me now.
Really, San Antonio is rough.
Some places.
Like just the pockets that you can.
There's pockets it's dirt cheap, and then there's also one of the most expensive neighborhoods as well in San Antonio. It's
Okay.
very black and white, but it's
Yeah.
also a large city.
Yeah.
Right?
the
So
street by
that's
street.
why I like it so much, is
Probably more
because
tourism. Yeah.
a lot more tourism, a lot more opportunity, a lot of hoarder houses,
Yeah.
some quick flips. It's
Yeah.
great.
That's great. So,
San Antonio.
Yeah.
like, how's the cash flow and the return on cash over there versus here?
You know, funny enough, my first property in San Antonio was a short-term rental. But I learned that the midterm rental strategy might work better in that market, and that's because of the traveling nurses and the military base.
Oh,
There's a large military base there as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, I pivoted and switched to midterm and also flips. I think that market's really good for flips and building.
Yeah, you know, we hear that a lot about tons of cities in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
What
just
else?
way more opportunity.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a client. He called us last week, and he was like, he's buying in St. Louis. Like, they're buying just all over. They're looking at different markets because they're like, yeah, we don't want to be here. But like, I guess so. Midterm is better out there. You're saying, but were you doing well with short-term rentals out there? And like, is there similar regulations over there to here?
Yeah, the regulations are pretty strict there as well.
Oh, well, yeah.
The difference there is it doesn't need to be your primary residence. You can even arbitrage if you want.
Oh, sweet.
But it's really odd because, okay, so my property, if there was another owner that had a short-term rental on the same block as me,
Yeah.
I can't get my permit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
monopoly.
Yeah, it's fucked. So
That's crazy.
I know, it's so odd. But well, and I guess not, because there's a reason behind that, right? They don't want to saturate the neighborhood with a bunch of short-term rentals.
For sure.
So it makes sense. So I called the city before actually buying the property, and she told me I'm good. The only person that has a short-term rental is the person right across from me, and that doesn't count.
Oh, so
Really?
it's, if they're across from you, it doesn't count. If they're
No.
on the same side,
Same side as me.
then,
How long does that
wow.
same side span? Like, cause like streets can go.
Yeah,
fucking
how long
forever,
can it
man.
span? Seriously.
Like, imagine on Lakeshore in Toronto. Like,
I know,
that's
right?
forever, bro.
Artery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't go that deep into it. As soon as she told me that
You're
I'm
good.
allowed, I'm like, apply
Yeah, exactly.
immediately. So yeah, that different rules and regulations everywhere. It really changes.
I guess one way that a lot of people are kind of offsetting this short-term, let's call it obstacle, they're doing 30-day rentals, 30-day furnished rentals plus. That's a big one.
Yes, in Ottawa.
In Ottawa, I see that often too. In the core areas,
Yeah.
you can charge a lot. There's a high demand for 30-day plus rentals.
I was just gonna say that there
Yeah.
is a lot of demand for furnished midterm rentals. It's great.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
rented 2 units to a family immigrating here for 6 months, furnished. Nice
Wow.
premium, 6 months.
Like
Can't go
$3
wrong.
grand a month,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's great.
It's good. It's
We
really
should look
good.
at that.
Yeah, it's huge. Furnishing rentals like that is a very good play.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And what I like about midterm rentals as well is you don't have to go or spend as much money as you would for a short-term rental.
Yeah.
Because with a short-term rental, you have to really step up your game, right? You want to make sure that the guest is going to walk in with their luggage, their clothes, and that's it. Everything else, they're set. But with a midterm rental, it's more flexible. You don't have to spend so much money and make it top-notch and make sure you're beating your competition and et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of a different game.
Oh yeah, I was in the short-term rental game for a while. Like we had 30 units between here and Miami.
Oh, nice.
So we really went hard in that domain, and I realized how high touch it is. It's very high touch.
You have to.
It's like you've got to give people 5-star service, or they're leaving you a bad review.
100%.
Or you have to be completely honest from the get-go and say what's wrong with the place before they get there,
You
Wow.
should,
You know?
yeah, 100%, or you're screwed.
or you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with now, I think a lot of markets are very saturated. So before you're able to furnish your unit with IKEA furniture, right? And take
JYSK.
JYSK,
Yeah.
and take photos with your iPhone 11 and you're set. But now it's a different game.
We no longer have to deal with tenants as much.
Yeah, as much. That's the.
Keyword.
Keyword.
If you own properties, you've got to deal with it like in one way or another, right?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I remember when people were like, "Oh, real estate, like passive income apartments." I'm like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna buy one." And then I bought my first one, and I was like, "This is not
Passive.
this is not passive, man."
So many of our clients are just telling us they're going to sell their properties and just do private lending.
Yeah. Yeah, we
That's
will-
like kind of risky too, though, I find.
Yeah, but like you look at it, right?
No.
Like we have clients, for example, who are, they'll buy a $10 million building and they're not making money for 3 years and they're injecting $2-3 million to make it nice. And now you have like, okay, well, you have a tenant that doesn't want to pay or whatever, right? Like I understand there's certain things that happen, but a lot of people in Ontario and Canada in general, I think, are entitled and they're just like, hey,
Ontario?
yeah, like,
Canada, period.
Canada,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oops.
But like they don't give a fuck. They're like, okay, cool. Well, I know I can take this landlord for a ride, and I'm not gonna have to deal with it for a year. So fuck it. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him for like.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of our clients now are like, well, I'll put it $2 million in private lending, and I'll make 20 grand a month. Like, and I don't have to deal with tenants. And
Yeah,
if you don't pay me, I'm just gonna take your property.
that's fair.
So
And inherit the tenant that's not paying.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's I agree. It's a bit of a risk, honestly, when the laws are so sideways here. It's not fair, and it should be equal, right? It should be fair. The backlogs are horrendous, right? There's definitely favoritism, but again, that's why I chose to invest in a more landlord-friendly state. It's less risky.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I was reading something the other day. of how there's more immigration, not immigration, emigration.
Yeah, I know.
Oh fuck! I always confuse the two too.
Yeah,
It's okay.
emigration
Yeah.
from Canada. Like people are just leaving.
Yeah.
More than ever. Like the title of the article I read was stating how the highest emigration in the last 73 years.
Yeah, I can
in
see
2023, like people just leaving.
that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people, like, throughout COVID, they were like, fuck it, we're going to Florida, we're going to Mexico, Costa Rica.
Man, the amount of people going to Florida
They
and
never came
Mexico,
back.
yeah, they're just not
They
coming
never
back.
came back.
Yeah, that's
It
so
is
true.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
so true. That's why investing in Texas was amazing for me, because that's kind of when I found out, oh shit, I don't think I want to stay here forever.
No,
Right?
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when my first, like, I used it as a vacation rental too, and in 20, was it last year? For the past 2 years, I'm there for at least half the year, just
That's
hanging
amazing.
out.
Did you get your citizenship?
No, I need to work on
I was
that.
going to ask you about that.
I need to work on that.
Yeah. Hey,
Does-
it's not that hard in the U.S., but
No, but
Depends.
like, does you owning property over there help, like, with a visa and stuff?
No.
Really?
They hate landlords. I would say, so I did have a chat with my attorney. It's possible if I were to open up a business there. So because I'm in property management here, I could make a case and extend my business out there if I
Yeah.
have clients
Okay.
there. I think he said about if I had 3, don't take my word if my lawyer is watching this, sorry if I'm wrong, but 3 properties, if I'm managing 3 properties plus,
Yeah.
it would really help with my case. So that's what I'm working on.
that's big. Actually, when I was looking, when I was doing it in the U.S. too, management is one of the easiest ways to get in.
Yeah.
And as a Canadian, you could start a business in the U.S.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
You can go open accounts there and operate as long as you're not physically working in the U.S. and taking an American's job.
I'm taking this off now.
Then you're okay. But
Yeah.
you can start a business in the U.S. as a Canadian and hire Americans to work for your company. And the U.S. loves that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? You're helping out.
Well, I talked
Exactly.
to a guy actually like 2 days ago. He has he's like a software developer, and he was from Canada, and during COVID he moved over to Miami, hired 2 Americans, and now he's got his visa.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, if you hire Americans, then you can go in as the CEO and apply
Yeah.
for a visa.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
And after visiting it was my first time going to Costa Rica
Nice.
and Panama. I'm not even sure if I want to live in the U.S. because I love the lifestyle in Costa Rica. Everyone goes to sleep so early. Everyone wakes up very early.
Right?
Because you get knocked
Yeah.
out by the sun, which is
Yep.
great. That's great. And it's a healthy lifestyle. Like the fruit there is very cheap compared to here. Like you can get a smoothie there for half the price than here versus
Yeah.
their coffee's expensive though, but I don't blame them. It's
They have
top
Costa
notch.
Rican coffee. It's sourced from there.
Top notch, yeah.
A second cup sources their coffee from Costa Rica.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
The coffee's so good. So that's another option. And what I've learned with Costa Rica and Panama is if you invest in a property, so in Costa Rica, 300K property, you will get citizenship.
Huh.
Yes. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so
you buy
that's
a property there, they'll give you citizenship.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Probably
Yeah.
won't last for long because there's so many people moving to Costa Rica.
Gotta get in quick.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
get in quick.
And for
Open
Panama,
window.
it's the same thing. 200K and you can get a citizenship, but it'll take about a couple of years.
That's crazy.
If you buy a property for 300K in Panama, you'll get your citizenship within like a few months.
Oh, they're investing.
Yeah.
Come.
You know, I'm seeing these trends even in Italy. They're paying people to move there.
I know.
You saw that? I watched it on TikTok recently.
Yeah.
30,000 euros for you to come to this
I'm
part
down.
of Italy, and then they give you $1,000 a month or something for every kid you have
Oh,
in there.
Yeah, they're really trying to populate.
Like, they wanna
some of these things.
populate
They're
their-
they're like, come here, we'll give you 50 grand.
wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Just a dead part of town, though, right?
yeah, probably in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But like, hey,
Yeah.
probably some people
Hey,
that need
anything's
that.
better than here.
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
The snow, yeah. If you like sunshine, you've got a lot of
Exactly.
options.
Exactly. Yeah. They even in Italy they had like I don't remember if the $1 you could buy a property for $1,
Yeah.
but then there was like the fine print. You have to renovate within 2 years, and you have to spend 100K at least to renovate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't leave the country for 5
And you
years.
can't leave the country. But hey.
You are trapped.
That's yeah. I want to talk, like, how many properties do you have now, like, between here and the States, if you're comfortable talking about it? If you're
Yeah,
not.
for sure. So I did a lot of offloading during the peak
Mhm.
in, was that last year or 2 years
Probably
ago?
Good
2 years
move.
ago,
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
20
two
yeah.
years.
2 years ago. I didn't buy much in 2022.
Yeah.
But I did a couple of flips with local partners. It was risky. So
Did it work out?
it worked out. It worked
Good.
out. Not the exact numbers that I wanted, but I just think of it as if I'm getting paid to learn,
Mhm.
and I didn't lose money. That's what matters.
100%.
Yeah. So the first year, I got lucky and I acquired 7 units. Say a total of a dozen.
That's good.
Manager, because I see some of the properties you buy when you got them and then to where they're at now, and like they're pretty big, like they're sizable projects. They're not like paint and flooring.
Yeah, for me, they're definitely large projects. The first one in the U.S. it was a full gut. It was a full gut. I spent around 100K.
Wow.
And that took time, right? And especially because it was a new market, there was a learning curve. It's completely different there. The foundation, they use freaking tree trunks for the
Really?
foundation.
I've
Yes.
seen that here before.
No.
Yeah,
How does that even work here?
I've seen tree trunks. Not as foundations, but as what do you call them? Like in the basement, for example.
Oh, like the
as
beams?
a stud or beam. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As a
yeah,
beam,
yeah,
as a
yeah.
beam.
That's
That's
crazy.
that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like, "What is this normal?" The inspector's like, "Yeah, man, this is solid."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Used
No.
to be a fucking barn here. Bro.
Yeah, but that's how it is in Texas. It's different, and basements are not common there at all. They're attics. They have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's probably because of the flooding too, right?
yeah, flooding, the shifting. Personally, I prefer attics over basements. I'd rather have a nice unit in the attic.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
You're up in the sky.
Who
Yeah,
wants to
for
have?
sure.
Come on. I
Basements
hate living in
suck.
I
Yeah.
know. I live in
my
basements.
parents' basement for a little bit, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's cool. Like,
It's-
I got a lot of space,
it's
but like
Definitely
so dark,
like a
man. I
North
need the light,
American.
yeah.
It's a North American thing, you know, because
That's
we
why we're
don't
all
have
depressed.
flooding issues here. How do you find like what's the difference in labor between Canada and the U.S.? Like, are you
Yeah.
finding labor in the U.S. much cheaper
You can.
than here?
Yes, absolutely. It depends on who you get.
Okay.
Is it good? Like,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely,
But
absolutely.
you're very like, I guess because of your experience, right? Like you're very hands-on, even when you're here. Like when you're doing a renovation project, are you out there the whole time, like watching over it, or are you here and like you're?
So initially I was watching over, but now I've delegated that to a partner, and he watches over. He's the GC. He's done a lot of buildings as well and worked on multi-million-dollar projects. So he takes care of that now. But when I was in Texas, we were simultaneously working on a project together. He was here working on a project, and I was there working on a project. And so I had no choice but to GC the GC.
Yeah.
How did you meet this person out in Texas? Like, was it from social media, or like you just went there and started kind of pounding the pavement and were like, hey, I need
What
partners? Like the GC out there.
That was a referral.
Oh, wow.
Just to befriend people. Social media, man.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
too good.
Powerful.
Yeah, you can connect with a lot of people. Connected with, like I set my entire trip. I made sure I was going to meet investors in every single city. I was making sure that I was going to be at the networking events, and my goal was to make sure that I had at least established some sort of a team before I left. That's what really matters, especially when you're investing in a new market.
Go in with a plan.
Go on with the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your team
Kamikaze
matters.
is not the way to go.
What was that?
No, I said don't
Like,
kamikaze it.
freestyle it, yeah. We've done that before. Sometimes it works great. Sometimes
it
like
works
Yeah, it could. It
9
could.
times out of 10 it doesn't.
Yeah, but that one time gets you way too
one time, that
confident.
home run, baby.
Yeah, that's so true.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, what's the game plan now? Like, what's the goal for 2024, and like, where do you want to grow? Like, are you taking on investment? Are you looking to grow the management company? Like,
Yeah. The management company, it's growing organically right now. It's fun. It's a small team. I have a rental agent, and automation is my best friend.
Yeah.
Software in place. So I'm able to run that from anywhere in the world. It's my bread and butter. I've been doing it for so long, way too long. And from there, I am looking at acquiring a new property.
Mhm.
it's tough with the numbers, especially here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
We
tough.
know.
Yeah. So I'm looking at new markets, of course. And then from there, growing my social media, connecting, building a very large lead gen company. And that's where I'm at now.
What about like, fuck, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, what do you like when you're looking at new markets?
Hmm?
What are the key indicators you look for before jumping in?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So a couple of things. Number one, I want to make sure it's landlord friendly.
Mhm.
I don't want to jump in from a tenant friendly market to a tenant friendly market, especially if I don't live there and I can't manage it myself.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Landlord friendly markets. I look at the affordability, right? I look at what large companies are there in the market as well. Just like Panama, it's very black and white, of course, but Panama, there's a lot of huge corps that are there. It's a tax haven, of course.
Yeah.
So that's why. But
I love that.
Don't
Yeah.
they have a port as well? Panama's, do they have a
the
port?
largest
Yeah.
That's
canal
one of
in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yes. The
I literally
Panama
went to
port.
IMAX and saw that movie. I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that I had the largest canal.
Yes, it's huge. It was part of like how the U.S. grew, and even it was big.
Yeah, it was very nice hearing. Yeah, learning about the history.
What's that movie called?
What
the-
movie?
The movie that you were saying
In
something about
IMAX?
Panama. Yeah, what is that movie?
I don't know exactly what it's called. It's more of an informational video.
Okay,
Documentary type thing.
Documentary.
Okay.
It's within the actual canal. Like you go in, you pay for it, and then you could see like the ships cross through the canal, and they turn into this.
Oh,
big
this is
wall.
in Panama when you were there.
It was actually in Panama.
Okay.
That's sick.
Okay.
It was
cool.
lovely.
Yeah.
Piece
You
of
get a real
history.
feel for it. Yeah.
Real feel for it. Yeah. So, yeah, Panama's always been stable. For some reason, the interest rates there have always been pretty high. Like they've always kind of sat at the 7%, 6% mark
So it's normal.
consistently, even when we were at like under 2%.
Okay.
Wow. And like, are there returns? Like, is it similar to here? Like, have you looked at buying in Panama?
I have. In Panama, there's a new build outside of the city, maybe like a 30, 45-minute drive. You could get an 8 to 10% return. Not too shabby. They're
Yeah.
furnished. They furnish it for you. They manage it for you. Like this is your net. Not bad.
8 to 10 is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get a citizenship.
Are
Yeah,
they
that's sick.
with that 8 to 10%? Is it Airbnbs like short-term rentals or long-term rentals?
They're actually corporate stays.
Corporate stays.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a hospital nearby, and their target market is renting it to
Nurses,
medical
doctors, yeah.
medical professionals.
Cool.
So, which I actually like even more. I feel like that's less risky.
100%.
Yeah.
You know where that's huge too is Hawkesbury.
No.
Yeah. I have a buddy. He's got like, I want to say like close to 20 units just in Hawkesbury,
Really.
and he's just doing like midterm rentals, and he's getting like engineers from Montreal, doctors, like it's nuts.
Is there like a large
There's a big hospital there, and then I think that they have quite a few like warehouse spaces and stuff like that out there.
It's not so far out from Montreal. It's like an hour
Yeah, it's
out.
an hour out. So these guys are like,
really?
well, I'm not gonna commute an hour, so I'll just get a short term. The company pays for it. Like he's making a
Nice.
killing.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Hawkesbury.
Yeah,
Hawkesbury.
Hawkesbury. It's a little
Yeah.
rough, but
Yeah, I've definitely heard of the Hawkesbury.
yeah, it's just east of Rockland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it give Cornwall vibes?
Worse.
Cornwall's rough too, though. No.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
Cornwall's
saying.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So worse. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh
But
God.
you know what? Like, well, it's like any place. There's pockets, right?
Yeah.
But it's like it's really weird. Like people, like you look at Vanier and Beechwood, right? Like you're one street away from $1 million, $2 million, $3 million custom houses, and then you've got the slumlords of the city and a block over.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Don't
true.
laugh at me.
Yep.
I am the slumlord.
You are, it's you?
We are
Stop.
the slumlords.
No, man.
You guys
No, I'm
own
just
in the
I'm joking.
venue?
We have a few, but
Yeah.
I'm just fucking around though. I'm not a
Yeah.
slumlord. We do have nice renovations. We do
Oh,
get good
good.
tenants.
Yeah, they're good units.
Yeah, I actually love Vanier. I would love to buy there, but again, the numbers
It's
aren't
changing a
working.
lot. Like
Vanier North.
Yeah, like
What
we
do you
have,
mean
we have
Vanier
friends
North?
like Eli. Like he's
Yeah.
got like they're building custom houses, like duplexes, or sorry, not duplexes, like semis, like custom semis that are beautiful, 8, 7, 9, 10 units.
Oh wow.
Like it's changing quite a bit, especially with that new zoning bylaw they did.
Yeah.
It's like just go in and
Yeah, Vanier is getting better.
Agreed.
Eastboro.
It's still
Eastboro.
affordable.
It's
compared
still
to-
affordable compared to like buying in the Glebe or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Right.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you ever use AirDNA?
I do.
Does
I
it still
do.
exist? I remember back in my day when I was analyzing short-term rentals, I'd use AirDNA.
Back in your day.
Back in my
Back in
day, when I was
1902.
I do, yes. I don't as much anymore, but when it's very freaking expensive. First off, I still
Is
have
it now? Yeah.
It's like $7,000 a year.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
after negotiating, but so what I like about it, it gives you a rundown, like a very general rundown on what the markets are looking like. Ottawa is considered a very good market, but
No way. Interesting.
yeah, it's considered a very good market according to AirDNA. I agree with that, but only in certain pockets of Ottawa.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get a freaking good return in Finley Creek.
Yeah.
So, otherwise, it's obviously not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
You still have to do your own research manually. Because I'm doing so much of that research manually, I've just learned to
Like you
trust the
know-
process
yeah.
manually.
You've seen it. Like
Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, okay, that makes sense and that doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
guess
that's
it would just give you kind of the general knowledge.
the general knowledge
Really good to
it
start
gives
with.
me the rundown on how many short-term rentals are operating there. They extracted the data from Airbnb and Vrbo, which are the two
Okay.
largest platforms.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I like about it, and gives you the average occupancy rate, gives you the average daily rate.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, there's so many other variables to it, right? Because it gives you the average, like it's taking it from the most luxe properties to the worst, to the IKEA furnished
Yeah.
properties.
Yeah.
So
That's the issue with averages.
exactly.
The
Yeah.
numbers are a little messed up.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
great. And then there's also another platform called Mashvisor that I like. It's U.S. based. What I like about it is, again, it gives you a nice general idea, gives you a map. Let's say you're looking into Ohio. I think that's a pretty good market. It'll give you a rundown on what specific areas in, let's say, Cincinnati, Ohio, perform a lot better, right? So if you have no idea what you're looking at and you just want to get into a new market, that's what I like that platform for.
What's it called again?
Mashvisor.
Mash Visor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a lot more affordable than Airbnb too.
AirDNA.
Yeah,
See, that makes life a lot easier if you decide you want to invest.
Yeah.
Just boom, target it
Yeah.
out.
it's so
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah.
Like I love platforms like that, where it just
Yeah.
makes your life easier.
There's
Takes
so many
time.
tools now. What type of AI tools are you using now for your business?
Ooh,
Share those with us, Bara.
Man, honestly, right now I love ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I use that shit every day. I think they're also just implementing so many different integrations with ChatGPT. You can do so many things with it, and I feel like it's still underrated, low key.
Yeah.
Right?
It is, yeah.
Right, and I think you could really, if you know what to ask ChatGPT, you can extract a lot of good information, and it makes life easier. It saves a lot of time, right? But that's not to say that I see some people copy and paste the first answer ChatGPT gives, and it's so obvious.
Yeah. You gotta really.
Come on now. I think it's a great way if you're in a creative funk and you need some fresh ideas.
Yeah.
It's a good platform to use.
Yeah.
But do not copy and paste that shit, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
gotta
it's
spruce
a
it
good
up.
base. Like we do it like sometimes, and then we're just like, okay, like property description. I don't want to think about it. Just here, boom, and then okay, I have it, and then that's my base, and I'll tweak. And
Yes, yeah, it's a good skeleton.
Yeah,
Skeleton to
exactly.
have,
Yeah, I heard the best way to optimize it. Well, one of the ways to optimize it. This is from a TikTok video I watched. But you ask ChatGPT to ask you questions before
That's
giving
what I
you
do
the answer.
too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where you
Yeah.
right, you have the skeleton, and then from there you can say, by the way, let me know if there's anything missing that will help you give me a better answer.
Exactly.
And then it'll give me that answer, and then I'm like, okay, but can you tweak it and give me the answer in this tone?
Yeah. People don't think about it like that. I think
Yeah.
people are just like
No,
fuck
it's
it,
one
like, ask it.
dimensional, right?
Yeah.
Copy and paste.
Well,
Yeah, and then there's like there's so many AIs out there. There's an AI app for emails called Mail Magic, I believe. It's still kind of under the radar right now.
Mail magic.
I'll hook you guys up.
Yeah.
I'll hook you guys up.
I was
Seriously, I know the owner.
Mail magic.
Yeah, so what I really like about that is okay, when you first launch the app, let's say I use Gmail, right? It asks you to give a description of what you do. So be as descriptive as possible in that description. And then it knows the type of person you are, right? Like, oh, I'm a program manager, I do this, I'm, multi-unit investor.
Yeah.
And from there, when people email you, it drafts your response for you like that. And
That's
again,
crazy.
it's a skeleton, but that shit saves so much
That's
time.
scary. I don't know if I would want AI to replying to my emails.
Yeah, some
Why?
of the emails we get are like,
I don't know if I could pull it off.
yeah.
No, you should get that. It's so good. It takes like a little bit of time for it to get to know you, as weird as that sounds.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed that ChatGPT is starting to like know me, and it's like, what the fuck's going on here? Like this is a little too much.
Yeah.
It's a lot, yeah. I used to actually be so scared of AI when it first launched, just the idea of it, because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna take over jobs, we're doomed. But I disagree with that. I think it's allowing current business owners and just anyone, even with your career, to work more efficiently.
Sure.
And if anything, I think it'll create more jobs.
Yeah, it could.
100% it could.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about all that AI shit because he started using it a lot, and then I was like, I don't really care, like,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I should probably get with it, like, things are changing so often. I started using it, and I'm like, this is crazy.
I think you should. I think as soon as I embraced using it, that's when I really started taking off with social media.
Yeah. If you take like 48 hours to do research on what type of AI tools can help you in your business, I'm sure you'll discover some mind-blowing tools.
Mine.
You know?
Like our DMs on Instagram are just AI and like business stuff, and we're like, okay, well, we can implement that, or we can do that with this. It's like,
Yeah.
the
There's
tools
so
they have is
much.
crazy.
Yeah. What's one thing that you do every day that you hate? Or that's very tedious?
Back end, like,
Analyzing properties is
Yeah.
tedious, right? It takes
Ooh.
time to analyze properties. So
Yeah.
AI,
Probably train
we're
it.
dabbling with it now, but there might be a way for us to get the AI to analyze properties for us.
yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
for sure there is. It's just like maybe it's because I'm a control freak, but like, I don't know, man. Like,
That too.
You look at it, you're like, okay, because like we'll do it, and like it takes us 10 minutes now, right? Like it's just boom, 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 depending on how big the property is.
Yeah.
But then I know right away, looking at, okay, well, if I tweak this, it's gonna make that happen, or if I do this, it's like, I don't know how.
Yeah, it's like
You
you
know?
want to you want to analyze it yourself.
Because then I understand
Because
it.
then you understand it better. For
I
sure.
agree.
Yeah.
It's not it's not something at the moment, at least, you can just kind of ask AI to do. If
Yeah.
you're spending a lot of money, it's a huge investment.
Yeah.
You don't want to rely on that just yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure eventually it'll give you a good base. It'll be able to extract that info. And I know with ChatGPT, you can even give it instructions now. Instructions that like it'll remember what you asked it to do.
I told it to give me a full like workout program and fucking meal plan and everything
Yeah,
the other
it
day.
counts the carbs,
Wow.
but you know what? I've caught it giving me the wrong calculations on carbs and calories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It didn't calculate it properly. They need
That's
to tweak
true.
it a little bit. Whoever the hell created
Yeah, whoever's in the
ChatGPT.
back end.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That
Yeah.
is true.
So, I know we talked about goals for 2024, but wrapping up, like what cities do you have your eye on, and like, what do you think people should look at, and why?
Ooh. I don't want to advise anyone to
No,
look
no,
at-
definitely not advised, but for you personally, like, what are you looking at?
Yeah. So many. There's some cities in Georgia
Georgia.
that I'm looking at. I really like. Ohio's another one. There's a lot of cities, governments pumping in money, revitalization zones. It's looking good. Anything that's when I see people moving to, I like. And then with the mix of it being landlord friendly, lower cost, barrier to entry.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for, and that's initially why I got into Texas too. It's
Okay.
all of the above. It has,
Planning to buy more in Texas?
if the deal's right.
If the deal's right.
So Texas over Florida? Really, huh?
See, I haven't
For you
looked
personally.
into Florida too
Okay.
much. I did visit Orlando for the purposes of like analyzing, walkthroughs and whatnot. But Orlando, I wouldn't invest in because it's very heavily reliant on Disney World.
Yeah.
And as if that shit shuts down, you're done.
Game over.
Yeah.
There's more than Disney though. There's a bunch of different things now.
Universal.
There's like
Universal.
there's all kinds of amusement type of parks and activities there. I have a client who owns like 30 homes there
Holy. Where? In Orlando?
in Orlando and in and around it.
When did they invest in it?
This guy he's like 60 years old, so he's been investing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I have looked, and there's a lot of different markets in Florida that I looked at. But I think it's just very saturated. And like, let's say Kissimmee, for example. Have you seen what the Airbnbs look like out there?
No. I don't
Oh
even know
my
what that
god, the
is.
competition is wild. You're not just furnishing it with a personal touch. You are adding Mickey Mouse plushies in every room. You are creating themes. You are adding you're spending so much more money to make sure that you're top 5%.
Yeah. Too much competition is not fun.
No.
In
It's
that
hard to beat
domain.
out if you I urge you to Google or go on Airbnb and search Kissimmee Airbnbs. It's hilarious what they offer. Kissimmee.
Kissimmee. Where is that?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, we'll put all your socials down below.
Yeah.
And have people reach out, and thanks for coming.
Yeah,
It's
thanks,
Thank
bro.
you for
This was
having
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've inspired probably a lot of people to leave to the U.S.
yeah, or fucking Costa Rica
Land of
somewhere.
freedom, or Panama and Costa Rica.